This training video is brought to you by K-Alliance. K-Alliance provides high-quality instructor-led training videos for desktop, IT, and soft skills. Visit us online at www.kalliance.com to sign up for your free 7-day trial. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and we hope you learned something new. Real videos, real learning, real success.
In this demonstration, we're going to look at the process of troubleshooting network connectivity, predominantly using the TCP/IP utilities that we've been discussing. As support personnel in Windows 8, we really need to have a good handle on all of these, which tool to use in which scenario, so that we can quickly identify the scope of a problem and provide quick resolution. We'll also take a look at some of the PowerShell commands that we have as well. So we're on a Windows 8 box here. We're going to open up PowerShell. I'm just going to use PowerShell simply because it allows me to basically use the same utility for everything, but we're actually going to start with just ipconfig. Remember, standard ipconfig just shows me IP address, subnet mask, default gateway. Shows me information for both IP, for all of my interfaces that are enabled at least, and it shows me IPv4 and IPv6 information. ipconfig-all or /all will show me names of adapters and physical addresses, and if I've got DHCP turned on, who my DHCP server is, when my lease expires from DHCP, the DNS servers I'm using, and so on and so forth. So that's just going to allow you to verify the configuration. That should really be the first step. Now, if you go in here and you've got all zeros or 169.254s, then I'm probably going to go ipconfig release. That gets rid of the DHCP address. ipconfig renew will then attempt to renew or send out a DHCP discover, and I should get, in most cases, if I do that and it's working, I'm just going to get the exact same IP address. Now, the equivalent of that really in PowerShell, get-netipaddress. I now notice it gives you a lot more information. Whoops, went too far there. Gives you what seems like a lot more information. It's just actually listing it out in a different way. And so you kind of have to get a little bit familiar with these. These are all different addresses. And so what you can do with get-netipaddress is just pipe that into a format table. Just show it to me in a table and show me the IP address. That's what I want to see. I maybe want to see address family. I'm just going based off of this list, and then the interface alias. Okay, and then it'll just show me that information. So, like I said, you get a little familiar with the format, the default format, and then you can pipe those into format table, format list. I can quickly see, okay, these are the IP addresses that I've got. You can even take it a step further, and I want to do this. So let's say I'm going to sort object by interface alias. Okay, then I'm going to pipe, and I want to format table. And at that point, I just want to see the IP address. Okay, and so whoops, I need to see the IP address and interface alias, because otherwise I don't know which one they're on. Okay, and so then that is giving me just a cleaner view of that same thing. So get net IP address versus get net IP interface shows you the interfaces, the address families, the connection states, and DHCP enabled, disabled. But notice that doesn't actually show me the IP addresses. Static configuration of IP addresses is actually through the add net IP address commandlet in Windows PowerShell. But again, that's just kind of the equivalent of doing some of those things for troubleshooting. And I believe we already looked at the equivalence of the DNS for ipconfig. Okay, and so then the next utility would be the ping utility. It's basic connectivity checking. You're just sending ICMP echo request. You're expecting replies from machines, so we can ping a remote host. Okay. If the remote host is responding, then I'll get a response. Now, if you ping a name, you're also testing name resolution. I can ping my default gateway. So I'm trying to test to see whether or not I can get off of this local network segment. I'm going to ping 169 or 192.168.75.1 and make sure. Okay, so I'm able to communicate. It's a real good way of troubleshooting connectivity is to ping a local machine, maybe even ping your own machine yourself, ping your default gateway, and then ping a remote host. Now keep in mind when I take a look at those, okay, the milliseconds, the amount of time that it took for me to get that response, that's number one, that can indicate network congestion. Number two, another thing to keep an eye out for is that you might not get a response. And I believe we mentioned that before, that ICMP can be blocked by the destination system. So for instance, like this, if I try to ping www.ebay.com, I'm going to resolve that name to an IP address, but I'm not going to get a response from eBay. All right, that they just shut it down because it's a potential denial of service. This is an anonymous incoming request from the internet, and they just simply don't respond to those types of requests. Okay, I can go to my next utility, trace RT or trace route, and I can trace the route. I'm going to do -D just because that stops it from doing name resolution at each hop. Okay, so I'm going to trace the route now to ebay.com and see where the problem might lie. And so we can see it hitting my gateway and immediately getting out into the public internet spaces and going several hops. You get millisecond feedback there, or latency feedback from each hop. And as it gets closer and closer to eBay, I'm just going to start to see things time out. Okay, and so I mean it's just a pretty cool thing. If you eliminate the -D, appears to be probably go pretty quick. -D helps it to go really fast. When you don't have the -D, then you start getting the host names. All right, so we're on a Verizon network segment, and then we get into some of the routers, the Verizon routers, and then now I'm on AT&T net, and so it's pretty neat that you can sit there and watch it kind of bouncing from place to place until it finally reaches eBay's network and the point at which it will start getting blocked. So traceroute is a great way of determining exactly where a problem lies. NS lookup we looked at before, just a quick lookup of different addresses. You want to do a lookup. It'll tell you who your server is and its address, and it'll show you the non-authoritative answers. NS lookup can also be used internally to list out service records and A records on an internal DNS server. The PowerShell equivalent to that was resolve DNS name, www.ebay.com. Okay? And it will show me all of the records that were returned, the type of record it was. In this case, it was a CNAME record. An alias record. There's no machine that's actually called www.ebay.com. It's G. Apparently, it's g.ebay.com. Okay, so anyway, and it shows me where that came from. Some additional information, the default time to live in minutes for that record, how long I can have it cached. So that's very beneficial. Last one we want to do is netstat. Netstat will show you current network statistics for your machine. It sometimes takes a while to populate. I'm actually going to go netstat-A, the active connections. Shows you ports that you're listening on. If you throw a /B on there, I'm hitting Control-C just to end those. So -A-B. If you do that, oops, that one requires elevation. If you ever run into a situation, in fact, it's probably just best to open it up like that by default. Right-click, run as administrator, and then I can go netstat-A-B. The -B is going to show me the executables that are involved with a specific active connection, with the listening to that. In some cases, it can't gather that information, but in others, this is very, very helpful. Just keep in mind that the resource monitor is kind of a graphical equivalent to netstat. Okay, there's probably more that could be said, but I think that's a good look at the various troubleshooting utilities with TCP/IP. Remember, keep it simple. Check the simple things first. Have a methodology, a structured framework that you're going to follow in order to troubleshoot connectivity issues. And with that, plus all the right tools, we should hopefully be successful in isolating and resolving network connectivity problems.
We hope you enjoyed this preview video. Please click on the like button below if you did, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to visit us at www.kalliance.com to sign up for your free 7-day trial today. You could learn a lot in a week.